Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, if you know me well, you know for many years I didn't go to restaurants. Even though I worked in a restaurant as a chef for many years, I always preferred to eat at home because I found that the food was better, more plentiful, and cheaper. Until I went to a restaurant called Pho Fresh. And now I am obsessed with the chef's food, that even though it's a 45-minute drive, which means it takes about 90 minutes or 2 hours round trip, we go every week and we pick up food for several days and we have our meetups there. I have no idea why I love this food so much. Maybe you'll find out today. Maybe we'll find out his secret. The restaurant is called Pho Fresh. It is not a vegan restaurant, but they have an extensive vegan menu. And the chef, who you're going to meet in a moment, knows about the diet that many of us up here follow, called SOS free, not SOS. It's not the SOS diet, guys, because everybody's on the SOS diet. Everybody eats sugar, oil, and salt. It's the SOS free diet. And with a little bit advance notice, he'll make these recipes SOS free. And they're, I don't know, it's just delicious food. I love this food, especially the soup, which is, I guess, pronounced pho. I call it pho because the restaurant's Pho Fresh. And he's got this secret noodle he's going to tell us about. He's actually going to show us how he makes pho today. Please welcome Chef John. You don't know me very well, but I'm telling you, I didn't eat at restaurants for 10 years.
Yes, we don't. I mean, the first time we met, what you said that's very intriguing. So, I mean, everybody go out and eat, right? But you don't have the trust in the restaurant because you want to know what you put in and you want to feel safe when you're eating. So, and that's what Pho Fresh is. We want to put in the right ingredient for everybody that's healthy and it's vegan. So that's what makes us different.
Well, you've won a lot of awards, vegan awards for best this, best that. I mean, why? I'm trying to deconstruct your food because it's simple food. And in some ways it's simple. And what I mean by that is one of my mentors, the co-owner of the True North Health Center, Dr. Alan Goldhammer, says, anybody can be a great chef if you use enough sugar, fat, and salt. It's pretty easy to deep fry things and make them taste good. But for you to make it taste that good without these things, like, how do you do it? Like, what's your secret? And why can't I make food as good as you?
What makes me want to eat food is the texture. So if you don't have the right texture, everything is just soggy or overcooked or undercooked. So when you try to find stuff to replace, the right texture for your palate, that's the most important part in the cooking. Anybody can cook, but you can always overcook. And
uh-oh, you froze. Please come back. This is too good to. Please come back. Is he frozen for you guys? Oh, because I can't do this show myself. It's a cooking demo. Let me text him. Oh, why now? Oh, there you go. You froze for a second.
Our internet's fine, but
okay, good. Well, that's okay because you're back. Thank goodness. Well, you talked about texture, and I agree with you because there's basically 3 dishes that I get over and over from you that are SOS free: the Chef AJ vegetable pho, the Al's mushroom noodles, and the I don't know what you're calling it, the Buddha's feast. And your vegetables are not mushy, and they're not raw either. They're like perfect.
Because with cooking, you have to understand that it's on a timeline. It's about a science also. Everything's about a number. Because with cooking, vegetables especially, if you're not picky with the time and amount of how you're cooking and boiling, everything is just going to be the same. So I'm very picky with pre-boiling veggie and to a time frame where it's preset to every single veggie is different. You can't cook all the same veggie at the same time. It doesn't work like that. So what I'm hoping to show you today is to make a chow mein out of, not zucchini noodle, not squash noodle, but this noodle that you're obsessed with and how to get to that texture. So
I am obsessed with your food. And I'm curious, where did you learn to cook? Where did you develop your passion for it? And you're Vietnamese, correct?
Well, I mean, Vietnamese, Thai, and Chinese, we all use a lot of herbs and spices. So I learned to cook from my mom, and I expressed my cooking, through my wife. She approved the dish, and because she's an eater, and if she says it's good, then you know what? Then most likely the person who's going to eat it will like it too. So and with Vietnamese food, you know, we use a lot of lemongrass and ginger. And so so since I'm going to make you a bowl of pho today, and then I'm going to make the noodle with the chow mein basically, but we're going to use mushroom noodle. And then I'm going to show you the mushroom noodle a bit. But I want to get started on the stock pot for the pho. Okay. So we're going to do this from scratch. And the stuff that I'm going to throw it in first, and then we go back to the noodle. Okay.
Sounds good, John.
So the first things first is we're going to use, it's the two ingredient that's needed is cinnamon stick. Okay. And then I'm going to use 6 clover of anise stalk. So we're going to throw this in first, and then we're going to do it. And then after that, what you want to do is throw in the ginger, handful. But what I have here so far is about 5 quarts of water. So 5 quarts of water is going to feed about 6 people. First, because we're going to need that broth to cook the chow mein. So that's how I evolve in cooking, is trying to understand and replace the flavor and texture with what you call it, is because I'm trying to minimize on salt and sugar. So right. We're infusing a lot of flavor into the broth, and then we're going to use that broth, and then we're going to cook the chow mein with it. So that's why maybe you go out and eat at my place, chef. So, okay, so for the pho, this is a veggie pho. So what we have so far is this anise, cinnamon, and ginger. So the 3 main ingredient in the soup. But everything else you add on is enhancing the sweetness and the aroma. So the next thing I have is daikon. I know that most people don't have daikon at home, but
oh no,
you know, we can just pre-stew that. So if you don't have daikon at home, it's fine. So we're going to get this going. So I have that, and then yellow onion. So for 5 quarts, because I'm trying to minimize on, you know, the sugar and salt. So you want to double a lot of the veggie. And even though it seemed like a waste, but you're going to get so much out of it that, you know, you're going to feed yourself for days. So we're going to cut these up, you know, increase the surface area so it becomes cooked faster. So I'm going to do 2 yellow onion. Okay.
Has your mom eaten at your restaurant?
No, she'll probably give me a 1 star.
Does she live in the United States?
No, she does. She does eat my food. But I have to finish her food though. She only eats certain stuff, but she's very low. That's where I learned it from the vegan people, that as you get older, you have things do become saltier. So I get a lot of lecture from her about my food being too salty. So it's you know, it's a balance.
Has she tried any of your SOS free dishes?
I have made her veggie soup and stir fry the Buddha, just like you said. So whenever I can, I try to tell her, you know, like, you have to go lesser on these. And so, I mean, she listened, and her food has changed over time, but I think that's more of a palate thing as you know, you grew. Because
so you're opening a vegan restaurant like in a couple of months.
Yes, I'm hoping to be in by July or August, and that's my my passion is to give, you know, the vegan community a place where they have these food where they have never had before. Because what's a normal vegan dish? Salad, vegan hamburger, I mean, tofu, imitation meat. But what I have, you know, worn and created, you know, out of passion, because there is a lack of vegan food in this community. So when I first joined the community, I didn't realize there was a lack of food. And that's what caused me to, create these food and texture for people to transition and people who are vegan to find that, there's better food than hamburger and salad.
Well, your restaurant's almost always busy with vegans and not vegans. And who in the vegan community came to you and told you about SOS Free? When did this happen? Because a lot of chefs don't even want to hear about it. Don't be frozen again, guys, please. Guys, he's actually in Rancho Cordova, and not technically in Sacramento. And the restaurant he's opening called Pho Vegan will be right next door to Pho Fresh, which is on Coloma in Rancho Cordova.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you froze for a minute. So I don't know if you heard my question about when and how did you first hear about that there were people that weren't only vegan, but that required no oil, sugar, or salt in their food. How did that come to be?
Through vegan people that I met, and when I joined the Vegan Society through my godmother Karen, and she introduced me to Bethany. She was the lead of the Vegan Society, and she launched off the Vegan Chef Challenge in Sacramento, and now you probably heard of it. It's all over, part of the United States and the world.
I just saw Bethany on Sunday. I was speaking at the Seattle Veg Fest, and we talked about you. Unfortunately, she moved to Washington. I've replaced her, I guess. So that's amazing. So we have to make a big deal about when you open this restaurant. There's a couple of questions, John, about what was the thing you put in after the onion, and if you didn't have daikon, could it be replaced with another radish? I don't know why he keeps
purple and all that stuff. But if you have cabbage, what I put in early was cabbage. If you have a cabbage, throw in the whole cabbage. Cabbage is just going to be a natural sweetener. So throw it in, let it stew. But if you have something else that that's going to be light in color and create that natural sweet, then just cut it off and throw it in. So what I did, I throw, we don't eat the scallion. So I cut off the scallion, the onion, and then you have extra, you just throw it in. So,
just your plain broth is like, I could just drink it without anything in it. It's so good.
And because the broth, when I make the SOS broth, it takes at least an hour to infuse it out. So the other thing that you need is, is carrot. And the reason why carrot is going to be important because it's going to give that golden, nice color instead of white. And it gives that natural sweetness also. So if you have carrot, if you don't want to peel it off, it's fine. Because, it's just wash it off and then cut whatever you can and just throw it in. Okay. So we're going to leave that to boil. And then we're going to focus on Al's dish, which is basically a chow mein. And what makes a chow mein? A chow mein is a noodle dish made out of and you need basically you need a mixture of you need a mixture of diced cabbage and carrot. Okay, so we're gonna throw this in the pot first. And you're gonna have yellow onion and green onion. Honestly, to me,
I think what I think is so extraordinary about your work is anybody can make food taste good with a lot of oil, sugar, salt, and fake meat and all that stuff, but you actually make vegetables taste good.
Yeah, I hate vegetable, but I think once you realize the cooking time of how the vegetable is, you get to enjoy the crunchiness and the natural sweetness of it. So is that belong?
Yeah, you're on. Did you put in the roots of the scallions also? You put in the ends, the whole scallion?
Yeah, because you don't want to throw a lot of stuff away. Whatever you can throw away that's natural sweet, throw it into the stock pot. So
I love it.
So the more the better. It's okay. But in the end, it's like ginger and scallion, all the stuff, you don't want to throw in too much of the anise and cinnamon.
And you throw the ginger root in whole and unpeeled, right?
Yes, because you wash it off, and as long as you slice it and give it the right volume, surface area for it to extract out, is fine. We don't have time to pre-peel this and make it nice and clean because we do in a stock. But if you stir fry it, you want to peel it off and make it look, like you try to make it look, nice and clean. But it's something I don't eat ginger. Do you eat ginger?
No, I don't personally, no.
I like the smell and the taste of it, but I can't eat ginger. So
yeah, it's a little strong for me sometimes when it can be overpowering when it's crushed and put into a dish.
It has that spice taste. So let's get to what makes a chow mein still. So what we throw in so far is yellow onion cut, and we have cabbage, and then we have diced carrot, and we have 2 inches of green onion. To me, this is what makes the name chow mein. And then you have your noodle, of course, right? But
and most noodles are just made out of like white flour.
Yes, but with chow mein is yellow. They make it yellow.
They make it yellow. What makes it yellow?
It's the egg.
Oh, and that's not even vegan. So yeah, interesting.
When you find a chow mein that's vegan, is made is turmeric is added to it and food color. So, but we leave that to another day. So what we have so far now is the noodle part. So to me, what helped me eat veggie is texture. And this guy here is
huge.
Yes. What is it?
It's a king oyster mushroom.
Yes. The reason why it's called king oyster is because of its size. There's no mushroom that is this big. And this is a large size of mushroom. They do have an extra large that you can get so much more out of it. Can you excuse me 1 minute?
Of course.
Alarm is on.
So guys, I'm going to tell you something. I really like to say the word hate. I'm trying not to use that, but I intensely dislike mushrooms. Never have, always thought they were disgusting, but everybody says they're so important to your health. And the only way I've ever been able to eat mushrooms is to air fry them with spices like pepperoni or bacon spice from local spicery, or the way John presents them as noodles. And they're not made of mushrooms. They are the mushroom. And I don't even know I'm eating mushroom because they have the exact texture of pasta when they're in the pho or the pho and when they're in the chow mein, and they look like mushrooms and they're literally just a mushroom. So that's why it's so extraordinary.
Sorry, the restaurant alarm was on.
That's okay. How are you going to manage with 2 restaurants? Are you going to just run back and forth and cook at both?
Well, my other vegan restaurant will help, make Pho Fresh a lot easier, because what makes us different is that I incorporate every vegan sauce into the regular meat sauce, and the regular clientele that eat meat doesn't know that they're eating vegan butter, vegan mayonnaise. That's
great. And we won't tell them because they're probably not going to be watching this show.
I'm not going to tell them, you know what, if you like it, then you know what, then it's just how your mind process. So it's just, if you don't know, it doesn't hurt. So that's how I look at it.
That's brilliant. There was a restaurant that I work with in LA, and I can't say their name, but they took the oil out of everything and all their sauces and soups. They just didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, I focus on that because when you tell them, like, the mindset change, and then they're going like, oh, so I don't tell them. If you like it, then to me, I did my job.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get to the noodle part. We all know how to make noodle, right? So what you need is
for you not to freeze. But I'm guessing he's going to say a really good julienne peeler. This is weird that he's freezing, guys, because we're in the same city. Usually this happens when it's international.
Are we back on?
Yeah, we're back on.
Okay. So the reason why I love this mushroom is because there's 5 texture in here, and you can do so much different variety of, of dishes. So what you have here is the cap, and the cap, if you cut off the top, it becomes very soft. A nice, smooth, soft texture where it's almost like butter. So when you cook the top, you get a different section. And you can see right here where it start breaking down right here. This part here, it become very chewy. It's, you know, you can't, you have to gnaw on it. And then when you get down to the base, you know, most people have to throw away because it's so crunchy. So you have soft and you have crunchy. And in the middle, you have to utilize the outside, because with a mushroom king oyster mushroom, when you cut the middle, you can see the strand outside, and see that strand is a fiber strand, and then it goes from beginning to the end. So when I discovered that to make this, before I make these mushroom noodle, before I did it by hand.
How did you even think to do this though? I mean,
Because look at it, it's a natural science. It's just, if this, you're not forcing it to be a noodle. You just gotta make it look like a noodle.
I mean, you should like patent this or something and sell it.
It's not enough money for me, so it's okay.
But you know, could I come? Have you?
You want, but this is how it's going to take to make a bowl of noodle. You have to strand it. You know, you have to literally just keep going with it. And how much can you, you know, I mean, one of this can make a good size. So now you have the julienne, but now look, it breaks apart, and it's not like squash or zucchini, or, you know, look at it, it's a good crunchy texture.
And yeah, it's really a noodle. You wouldn't know it's
really
not a noodle.
And I can't eat the squash noodle because it doesn't, it's soggy. But this one holds its texture when you.
Oh no. It's got to be on his end because I'm not freezing, right? Guys, is your mind blown by this? All right, you're back.
You're back?
You're back.
All right. So what I did so far was just 2 mushroom king oyster. I know it's going to be rough for certain geographic to find this, because they're normally going to be like really tiny at most places. But if you happen to see one that's like, you know, that's a decent noodle length, you know, grab it. It's not going to go bad, and you can do so much with it. If you can't julienne it and do something with it, there's always other stuff to do, because the bigger it is, the more flavor and other stuff you get out of it. So if you see it, take it. So this is just a whole bunch of noodle. So are we still on?
We are still on.
Yeah. So what I have so far is we're going to do the chow mein first. So I'm julienne enough chow mein. Okay. But before, so what I have so far is just this. This you don't want to pre-blanch, because it's going to cook on its own, because these you can eat raw. And whatever you can eat raw, don't overcook the veggie, right? I mean, it's just, you don't want your veggie soggy. So what I want to do first is I'm going to make a vegetable mushroom noodle chow mein. That's what it's called, or Ao's chow mein. So if you're going to use broccoli, you have to remember that broccoli takes a long time to cook. So you don't want to cook this in with the chow mein. You want to pre-cook the mushroom first, because mushroom takes at least 2 minutes to 5 minutes to cook, depending on how you like it. So we're going to throw this in the water first. Okay, so we're going to pre-boil. We're going to pre-boil the broccoli. Okay. And AJ, I already smell the cinnamon and the anise star on the soup. You're ready for the soup.
Are those baby bok choy?
Yes, these are Shanghai bok choy. They're more green. The other one, the regular bok choy, has more of a white stem, and those are thicker, like a cabbage, so you cook it longer. So after the broccoli, since we already dropped the broccoli, now we drop in the bok choy pre-cooked. So what I'm showing you here is a fast approach to a dish, because if you're going to work. You're gonna have too much water coming out from the veggie, and your broccoli is gonna be undercooked, and your bok choy is gonna be overcooked. So you time it wise, where your broccoli, the stuff that is very long to cook, you cook first, right? So we throw in the bok choy, and bok choy is gonna take a minute. So we throw in the bok choy, and if you have other veggie at home, it's okay to cut it up and throw in the chow mein, because you're gonna call it a vegetable chow mein with mushroom noodle, right? So whatever veggie you have, zucchini, squash, anything any type of mushroom, you take it out and you pre-cut it where it's an edible size, and then you throw in your noodle dish. And we're gonna make 2 dishes today. We're gonna do the soup but then we're gonna do the chow mein first. So now mushroom we eat raw, right?
Well, they say it's better cooked for some reason.
It's better cooked is because, to be honest, the reason why you cook mushroom is because you have to wash it. Every single mushroom that you get from anywhere, if you want to sustain its shelf life and its look, you can't wash mushroom and put it away. Most of it comes dirty. So that's the reason why it's the same thing why we pre-blanch this. So I'm gonna have mushroom, carrots, and then celery. See, I don't like celery. If I'm gonna make it, I'm not gonna eat it. So if somebody that don't eat it, don't put it in, because they're not gonna like it. They're gonna hate your food. Okay. So we're gonna blanch this. And then just 30 seconds. Okay. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm gonna have this stove on.
Yeah. So are you putting it in the pan? Because we can't really see into your
I'm gonna
pan.
turn on the stove right now. I'm gonna get this heat up.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you the one trick for a chow mein. So far in the pan, we only have the stuff that is very fast to cook, and you don't need to pre-boil anything on this.
It looks like you're using a regular pan, not a wok.
This is, to me, is a non-stick wok. So if you see a non-stick, buy the non-stick. Don't.
Oh, you're frozen again. It's frustrating, and I apologize. I don't know why. This doesn't usually happen.
I don't think my internet is there.
Yeah, I don't know why you're because you live in my area. This is, yeah. I'm not getting any notifications on my side for instability. Do you have a lot of stuff going on in your house? A lot of things running, a lot of people.
Kids are at school, so no one's on their tablet.
Wow. Let's pray to the technology gods, because we got.
Can they hear me though?
Oh, I can hear you great, but when you freeze, I can't hear you or see you.
Oh my God. Can you see me now? I'll be back.
Now, yep, you're back.
Okay. So the veggie is pre-cooked. Okay, so the veggie is pre-cooked, right? I don't really see it, but I'm gonna scoop it out. I'm gonna drain as much water I can. It's pre-cooked already. So I'm gonna throw it into the pot. So this is the reason why you have. This is the reason why you have non-stick, because if you're SOS and you're trying to do anything without oil, you can't get it from anything else besides non-stick, because what makes food taste good is the oil that makes it chow and makes it crispy. So if you're going to use a pan that's not non-stick, you can't get that imitation chow and crispiness, that burnt, that smell of cooked food. That's what makes barbecue popular. So right now the stove is on high, and we're letting this thing sizzle. It's not going to burn. See, it's already having a chow on it, and that's what you want, is that smell. So.
And did you put any oil in the pan, and what kind of pan is that?
It's just a non-stick, any non-stick pan that you have, and it's not going to last forever, but when it become, sticky, just throw away and buy a new one, because your food and the time that you put into it is more important than, a $10 pan. So now to make a chow mein noodle, right, is you take the noodle, you don't want to cook this with it. It just become water. You're going to produce more water out of it. So we're going to blanch it also. See? So you know what I'm showing you is from time and experience and failure and all the stuff. If my wife were to see this, she'd probably like, why you tell me everything? They're going to open a restaurant. So, but you know what? If they
You know what, John, the truth is most people aren't going to do it. You know what I mean?
I want to show them that, there's good vegan food out there. And when I met you, Chef AJ, it was a whole new challenge. And I see that from your perspective, there's good food from it too. You just got to put your mind to it and not give up, because God, who's going to cook with SOS? It's just crazy.
It's such a lazy way to cook. I mean,
Yeah, it's like, but once you, God, you try for a day or two, it makes a difference on your body. And once you get that, you just want to keep going, right? So it's a matter of just finding a balance of texture. And so those who doesn't, how to, shake it and stuff, just use this and just keep mixing it. Okay. So now the veggie are cooked. We're gonna put on low. And the mushroom noodle only takes a few minutes. See, now we got, look at it. It's becoming like noodle right now. I'm gonna show you in a bit.
you need to be on one of the television competition shows.
No, it's not my style. Okay, so
How long has Pho Fresh been open?
it's been open for 6 years, but I've been in the business for a long time. And so now you see, it's becoming the texture and the way it wilts. It's just like a noodle. And when you eat it, it has that crunchy taste where you don't get sick and tired of,
I could eat that I wish you would just sell the noodles. I'd buy them and I'd pretend they were like, I'd put marinara on them. I would just use them instead of
and I'd be
pasta.
in the kitchen all day, chef.
I know what you mean. But the thing is, I don't find pasta all that healthy, even if it's made from one
Oh,
ingredient.
that's the thing is, I don't eat carb. I don't eat carb myself. I cut off carb and sugar completely from my daily diet. So, but to find this, I'm able to substitute carb, and it's fulfilling. So what we have in here so far, so we have all the veggie and noodle. Right now, it's just sizzling and burning without any seasoning, anything at all. So if you're gonna cook for someone, the chow mein, like Chef AJ, you said, you don't like spicy, right? You can't eat spicy.
I could eat it. It's not my favorite. You know what I mean?
So if you're gonna cook a chow, any dish for some person who likes spicy, then you throw in spicy for them. You have to cater to their palate, not to your food. If they're gonna eat the food, you have to give them what they prefer. Just because you like spicy doesn't mean everybody gonna like spicy, right? So if this is a typical Chef AJ's dish, where I'm just gonna throw in, dry herb and spices. You add this on to enhance the flavor. But now that you have enough stuff in it, normally the stock pot will be at least a few hours to get that aroma out. But just for show, we're gonna pretend that it's an hour later stewing, right? So we're gonna take So I want to take a broth. So I'm gonna take the broth, I say like half a cup of it. I'm gonna pour into the chow mein. And then you want to blast on high heat. You want to blast on high heat and let it simmer up until it dry. because the more dry it is, the more dense the flavor is left behind, right? So you're not cooking a soup. From it, it look like you're cooking a soup, but you just pre-boiling all of it out and until it's dry, and then you shake it and stir it and mix it, and then you have your chow mein. So right now, you know, we have veggie that's simmering in water, and so when you have a high heat, it's going to dry up, and then it's just not just the chow mein with veggie. It's if you think out the box, you know, you can make this a different flavor. Like, you know, if you know someone who likes, you know, ginger, you know, pre-slice it up and throw in more ginger for them. Or if you want spicy, you know, you can throw in the pepper for them and mix them a whole new dish. So you have a spicy chow mein. Because the reason why you want to throw in why it's cooking like this, because the aroma is going different. Most people, they're not going to add the veggie, add the spice when they're eating, because it become a Thai dish. Are we still on?
Yeah, you froze for a second. When you freeze, you don't see me, correct?
No, I see you.
Okay.
So right now it's still simmering, but so if you love the smell of basil and stir fry with it, you know, Thai dish is very popular with basil. So when this is almost ready, which is it's almost dried up. So if you throw in the basil last, to those who like basil, don't do basil for everybody, okay? If you throw it in last and you let it simmer up, and then you have a basil chow mein. So you have spicy chow mein, ginger chow mein, veggie chow mein, basil chow mein.
You use a different basil though, right? You're using
Thai basil.
It tastes different than regular basil.
Yes, it tastes totally different. And it's I don't like basil, but I love the smell of it. It changed out the food completely. So what do we have? So we have the basil right now is wilted, and that's good enough because you can smell it already. And then you put it on a nice plate, and then you got yourself, you know, a veggie chow mein.
And there's not really a sauce in there. It's just from all the flavor of the spices, right?
Yep. From all the flavor that all the veggie that, you know, they all have their own veggie.
But it tastes so good. And your food is filling, but not in a way that makes you sick. I can't explain it. My husband can only eat like half an entree of yours. I eat the whole thing when I get it. Uh-oh. He's frozen. Do you guys like my little patch here, though? Put it on my couple of my things so if you can see what it says. Well, we hope he comes back. I hope you guys can come to this restaurant. If anytime you visit the Sacramento area, if you live in the Bay Area or Tahoe, it's a 2-hour drive, or Vacaville, it's worth it, let me tell you. And if you're in my meetup group, we're going to be going there for lunch on Sunday, May 28th at 11:30 to 1. And if you're not in my meetup group, just join. It's Healthy Living in Lincoln with Chef AJ. We go to restaurants every month and have potlucks almost every month and conferences. I am hoping he will come back. Oh, there he is again. Okay. Good.
Okay, so I made the noodle is not overcooked. You still get your noodle texture. You know, you put sriracha or you put your hot oil, not hot oil, but hot chili. So, you know, we have the dry chili paste. You can add that on and it become a different dish. So this is just the base, but if you enhance it with like Chef AJ does, you know, with a little bit of balsamic or what's the other stuff that we use?
I don't even find I need to put balsamic on your food. It's so good.
Yeah. So, and then you see a lot of veggie is not overcooked, but it's still like the bok choy. You see, it has this char, and that's what create that taste and that texture on that.
It's literally the healthiest food on the planet. I'm going to be taking Dr. Doug Lyle there soon. He doesn't personally like pho, but he will love all your other dishes.
It's a good break. So, but you got to be creative from this. If you have your own sauce, throw on top of it. Try it out. It doesn't hurt. You can always create a new dish with the same dish. Just
I make a sauce. I'm going to bring it for you one time and see if you like it, because I like to eat low fat. And so I make a peanut sauce, but instead of using peanuts, I use chestnuts, and I put all the traditional things in it, like rice vinegar, lime juice. For sweetener, I use dates instead of any kind of sugar, crushed red pepper, ginger, and garlic. And I think it's pretty good. I'm going to bring it and you can tell me what you think. And you're frozen. And if you like it, you can put it in the restaurant and call it Chef AJ sauce. Yeah.
Yes, I have a shelf for that.
What's your most popular from the vegan menu of your restaurant, Pho Fresh? What is the most ordered dish?
I wouldn't. There probably we have so many, but probably a banh mi, a Vietnamese sandwich. So, and I think that's maybe be a different segment, but it's gonna have to be banh mi, or where you take all the pickled daikon and carrots with a French bread, and you stuff it in with tofu or imitation chicken. And
wow, that's amazing. How will Pho Vegan be different from Pho Fresh?
Well, not for vegan. It's gonna be vegan fresh. So the vegan fresh restaurant next to us is everything that we can't sell at Pho Fresh, and that we have won the award for. We're going to bring it over to the other location where we don't mix the two. So vegan fresh is going to be 100% different in food and menu. So, and what I've been wanting to
No, don't freeze. Don't freeze. Maybe I should go like this. This means you're frozen. Yes, Susanna, that's a great suggestion. I would definitely have him back, and maybe he can do it from the restaurant. Maybe he'll have better Wi-Fi. And guys, I have my regular show at 11 today. Today is another fabulous demonstration of cooking from Well Your World, Dylan Holmes. Yeah, you're freezing again. John, maybe we can do it next time. People are saying when you get the new restaurant open, to do it again. Maybe we can do it from your restaurant before it opens. Maybe the Wi-Fi will be better.
Yeah, I would love that. It's I don't know why it's not.
Yeah.
When it's on the internet, they seem fine, but when I'm using it.
Oh, great question, Mary. Once you open Vegan Fresh next door to Pho Fresh, will Pho Fresh continue to have a vegan menu?
Yes, Pho Fresh will still be 100% the way it is. We're not going to change anything, but everything that we can do at Pho Fresh will be over at Vegan Fresh. So if you want like a vegan breakfast fried rice, it'll be over at Vegan Fresh. If you want vegan breakfast banh mi, it'll be over there. So it's stuff that you can't get at Pho Fresh.
Great.
So do we have time?
Yeah, you have all the time you want.
So what we have been pre-boiling is the stock for is you stew the stock, but traditionally you do beef stock, chicken stock, and those are the only two that normally comes up with pho. But we incorporate where we can stew veggie stock. So what I showed you earlier today is everything that's in it is what makes it a natural pho that's sweet on its own because of the veggie that we use. And what makes it a pho is because you can smell the cinnamon and you can smell the anise on it. So
I had no idea those things were in it. Do you make the broth every single day?
Every single day. We don't save nothing for the next day. And
that's why you call your restaurant fresh.
Yes, and we have to stick by that because there's so many restaurants out there that does the same concept. But if you don't stick by what you believe in, then you become the same restaurant.
If you have anything left at the end of the day, can I come over and get it?
I don't know. By the time you drive there, we'll be closed.
Oh my gosh! So you're open every day but Wednesday. What about the new restaurant? Will it have the same schedule?
No, it's just going to be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday dinner.
I did not know that. So maybe we could rent it out the other days for some vegan events.
Yes, it's open for renting out. It's gonna be, you can do your own cooking, class there, and you can reserve the place for a certain day for a vegan event. So it's gonna be 100% vegan. You have a vegan birthday party, vegan anniversary, and we'll cater the vegan food to you. So
Oh
the
my
establishment's
God,
gonna be 100% no meat.
that is amazing. I
And the
cannot believe.
kitchen and utensil and everything is the same thing. We're not gonna cross anything over there. So that's
Wow.
that's my gift back to, because I believe the vegan people and the vegan society, they deserve a place of their own. So
Wow, you're amazing. Hey, can you cater my next year's conference? Can you cater for 300?
I can get the staff. I mean,
I mean, what could you make though? I'm trying to think that would be
where's it gonna be?
it's in Sacramento.
Okay. I mean, I can always help out with some part. I mean, you don't want to do the whole thing with the same chef if you branch it out.
Oh, that's right. We switched it because the first conference we did with Chef Angelique from Zest, the one in September we're doing with Chef Ramses Bravo from True North. So we do like to change it around so people can be exposed to different types of vegan food.
No, it's I think when you have the Asian flavor into the food, it becomes a different, and I think that's what's missing. So
So good. And it's so gentle on the stomach, compared to other foods that I've eaten. And your food just sets so well with me.
well, thank you.
Yeah, it's just, I'm obsessed and I make my poor husband drive to get it, even in the rain, we get like 4 things that'll last us, a few days. Him
So
long.
let's jump to the soup. Let's make it quick. I call it quick pho. So the reason why you want to do soup one night is because you can serve 4 to 8 people, in 10 minutes, and it's fulfilling. You can change the flavor of the soup to spicy, to sour, to more sweet, or to no sweet or less. So because there's so many. So what I want to make is a base. So normally with pho, you have your traditional rice noodle, but the rice noodle is more healthier because it's less processed than flour noodle.
It's not processed at all. You literally
Yeah.
just cut it.
Mhm.
It's the antithesis of being processed. It's completely, yeah.
And that's why it's easy. It's easy on the stomach. So when you eat this, you feel fulfilling, but you're gonna get hungry again, in a few hours. And that's why pho is eat as breakfast, lunch, and dinner for our culture. So you can eat it and still go to work. It doesn't weigh you down. So but if you're gonna do a soup with rice noodle, you buy this is only a pound of noodle, and you can feed about 4 people with this. So if you're gonna take the rice noodle and make a bowl, it only take 30 seconds of the noodle to cook in the water. Okay, so and what I want to do is the mushroom pho, so I'm gonna take the same noodle, I'm gonna pre-cook it.
Is there a hallmark of Vietnamese food that makes it different from other Asian cuisine?
Yes, there is.
What is it, please?
We utilize a lot of fresh chili, and we utilize mainly lemongrass. So lemongrass is our staple in a lot of the food. And we don't add that to the pho just because it's a staple, because if you add that, it becomes a different broth name. But we utilize the lemongrass in a lot of the stir fry and a lot of the, what else is there? Or marination. That's right. We use a lot of lemongrass in the marination, and that's a whole new topic of how to marinate veggie. So
Was that Teresa?
yes, that's my boss. So that's what makes us different, is that we love lemongrass and it's very versatile in cooking. So it is from marination, which is really big, and stir fry. And so with Thai, you have a lot of curry and you had a lot of basil. So but then with Chinese food, you get a lot of the, the thickening sauce, and they utilize of ginger a lot. So everybody had their own, focus on a certain type of taste and aroma. So does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. Because I don't think I've ever had Vietnamese food before years, and now it's my favorite.
Yeah, we're more simple. Thai food is a little bit more. It's a lot of flavor in there, a lot of spice, a lot of coconut. So, but when you're going SOS, I see that the Vietnamese food is easier to incorporate because we don't use a lot of, those other heavy stuff. So, but what we have, let me get the soup. My wife trying to tell me something. Okay, so I pre-blanched the mushroom noodle. So we have the mushroom noodle, and we're gonna throw in, we're gonna pre-cook the veggie. And if you have more veggie in your refrigerator that you do dispose that you're not eating, just cut it up to pieces and put it to your bowl soup. So what we have is noodle and veggie. So if you want to enhance more into your soup bowl, then you add more veggie that you like. When you cater to someone who's eating, just remember and be respectful that what veggies that they like, put it in, for them to eat. Not everybody eat the same. So to top off with pho is you want to have add on your diced cilantro and green onion. So you throw this in, and then you get your condiment ready.
Right.
So, okay. So now we have a finishing bowl of pho with veggie. So the last thing you want to do is to scoop the broth out. We won't pretend that's been boiled for 2 hours. So it's only been. So the more the better. It's going to turn more darker. It's fine. It's just caramelizing. So.
Do you use a lot of regular onion in your cooking?
We use all kinds. We use both the green and the yellow a lot. So look at it. So you can see it steaming up right now, ready to eat. So once you have this, you can accompany it with lemon. So you can add lemon to it and make it more citrus. So you want more spicy, you do the jalapeno, and you want to change your aroma of the soup, you're adding on, add on basil. And
now
then
you say lemon, but sometimes I've seen you give lime. So is there a huge difference?
They both have the same. It's just we go with whatever's cheaper.
Whatever's cheaper. I like lime better. No, there's
No,
the recipes. The
lime's
recipe.
more sweet. Lemon is more sweeter, so it is a preference. If you use lemon, you're going to end up using more lemon. But if you're going to use lime, you have to use less. So
Always like lime's better. No, he's not going to write up the recipe, so you got to watch the video. Sorry. I'm sure you don't even use recipes when you cook, right?
No, I don't. It's stored in my head already.
Yeah, I bet that's a sign of a great chef. Like they don't need a recipe.
Food festival.
Yeah, you're going to be appearing soon in Sacramento in June, right?
Yeah, so I'll probably give the recipe there.
Okay, great. Well, then you guys will have to come see him. You're a really an amazing chef. I really
You see, Chef AJ. Look. So you have the bean sprout that's just cooked just right with the hot broth, and then you have so variety of texture and spice that's what makes pho such an.
and you can actually use the mushroom noodle in the pho for people like me that don't want the rice noodle.
So we made it with mushroom noodle. We're trying to go healthy, but then when you have leftover oyster king mushroom. There's so much more to do with it. You can pre-slice this and pre-blanch it and throw it into the soup or stir fry with the chow mein also. So it's so much variation on it that.
Well, I'm addicted to your restaurant, and it's like this has never happened to me before, where I have to eat somebody else's food so often. I wish it was closer. If I had known, I would have moved to Rancho Cordova instead of Roseville. Anyway, thank you so much. You're doing such a great service for the world and the vegan community in particular by giving them healthy, delicious food.
Yeah, there is an option out there. I mean, it's not always about hamburger or French fry. You can always have a hot, bowl of vegan food. When.
Well, I mean, your restaurant always seems busy. I mean, especially at meal times. I mean, I remember the first time I went, I was like, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we're fortunate.
Well, thank you so much for what you do, getting healthy, delicious food and making it accessible for those that not only are vegan, but that don't want sugar, oil, salt. I hope other chefs will take the lead from you, but I guess you have to be an extraordinary chef to cook without.
It has since Bethany has started the program, the Vegan Chef Challenge. There's so many that has enter and put and step up their game, and it has been a lot more since we first started. So it's growing.
Well, thank you, Bethany. If you're watching this, actually, I'll send her this video, and yeah, we appreciate you paving the way. And thank you, John. I hope you'll come back when the new place opens and maybe even do it from the restaurant. Don't freeze now. Well. Oh, there you go. So did you hear me say that I hope you'll come back from the restaurant?
Whenever you're ready.
Well, okay. Well, let's wait till we open it, till you open, and then we'll do a big grand opening.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
I mean, I can film it live, but it's easier if we can do it on Zoom, and you can either make something or things like that. Well, I will see you on the 28th of May for our meetup.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Chef John, and thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back at 11 o'clock for another fabulous cooking demonstration from Dylan Holmes from Well Your World. Reeves will be there too, and they're making things from their meal rotator.